Okay, my favorite type of question: straight lines. So the straight line L1 has the equation slurps t. Has the equation 2x minus 5y plus 6 equal to 0. So again, general format is y is equal to mx plus c. So we're going to have to rearrange our formula to kind of find what our m is. Again, just as a wee hint, m is our gradient, okay, and c is our y intercept, okay. So I always write that in. Just becomes fluid. Once you write it in, then you'll never forget it. So it isn't, or so it is, should I say? So I'm instantly just going to rearrange this equation, and because I'm like that, I prefer to just try to essentially approach it bit by bit without even reading the question, because I'm just going to save myself some work. So I am, excuse me. I'm gonna have to take this 5y over, so plus 5y each side. So that'll give us 5y is equal to 2x plus 6. Again, we just want a single y, so what we're gonna have to do is divide through by 5, okay, on both sides. So divide this side by 5, divide this side by 5. Again, the rule being, what you do one side of the equation, you have to do the other. So we'll have y is equal to 2x, or 2/5 multiplied by x plus 6 over 5, okay. So this is our gradient. All right, so it does a wee bit of work because we're going to be, I can already see here, we're doing line 2, and line 2 is perpendicular to line 1. So in case you don't know what perpendicular means, perpendicular just means that it's at a right angle, okay. And you'll have this in your supplementary workbook, that if you have if line 1, or say if line 2 is perpendicular is just at right angles, so this is the symbol to line 1, then m is the negative reciprocal, so it's minus 1 over m, okay. But again, check the booklet and you'll see that it's just right there, okay. You don't need to memorize this, so you don't. It's given for you. You cheeky bollocks. So, excuse my language. So, we actually have a point as well. It gives us the point on line 2. Okay, so I'm just going to state that this is line 1, and line 2. I'm going to write some information that we have. So I'm going to write point, 3, and 1. Okay, and since I know um, if line 1 is if line 2 is perpendicular to line 1, then our gradient is the negative reciprocal. Well, our m is equal to 2 over 5. So then it just becomes, it flips and then becomes negative. Okay, so our m for line 2 would be minus 5 over 2. Okay, hope you're with me so far. And then it just says find the equation of line L2. Okay, so we've pretty much done all the work here. All we need to do is kind of pop this into our equation. Okay, now there's two ways to go about it. You can do y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1, or you can just do y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, I'm just going to be lazy and I'm going to use this format here. Okay, so I'm going to put my m in, so it'll be y is equal to minus 5 over 2 x plus c, and now we have a point. We have 3 for x, 1 for y, and we can pop that into our equation and we can find c. Okay, because again, this is just the value that x has. We have x as a variable here. This is the value that y has. This is just y here. Okay, so what we'll do is, again, I write all this working out because it just helps explain to the examiner what I'm doing. Okay, so I highly recommend that you follow some sort of structure in your working out. Okay, like even this sort of stuff here, that's not, I don't think that's really a mathematical terminology. It's just me explaining what I'm doing. Okay, um, so let's take a look here. So we're going to put p into our equation, so I'm going to go p into line 2. Okay, because this is our equation for line 2. So it'll be I was going to write 3 for y, x, y, just keep myself right, because sometimes even I forget. So 1 is equal to minus 5 over 2 multiplied by 3 plus c. Okay, so 3 multiplied by 5 would give us 15, so it'll be 1 is equal to minus 15 over 2 plus c. And we'll just add, we want to take this over to this side. So again, as I say, you add it to each side. Plus 15 over 2 plus 15 over 2. So that cancels with that. So it'll be 1 plus 15 over 2 is equal to c. Okay, now if you don't know, we can convert any number into the fraction. Okay, 1 is the same as 3 over 3, or in our case we have 2 as the denominator. Okay, denominator means the bottom number of a fraction. And what we can do is we'll just do 2 over 2. Okay, so let me scroll down for a sec. I've nearly used up all our leg room. So 2 over 2 plus 15 over 2 is equal to c. Now again, you can just do it in your calculator. These are just tips that I have that make it easy for me. So it is because after M4 you'll be sitting M7 or M8. And it's, you have a non-calculator paper to do, so it's very good to brush up on that mental maths and kind of just converting stuff normally. Okay, so 2 plus 15, that'll be 17 over 2 is equal to c. Okay, now the question actually asks us for the full equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go pop the c back into our bad boy here. So line 2 is y is equal to minus 5 over 2x plus 17 over 2. Okay, and then I'll just put that down at the bottom here. I hope that makes sense. If you've got any questions or you've spotted any errors in my working out, just let me know. So it is, again, there is no mark scheme for this out at the moment once the period of time that I'm doing it, and this is the first time that I'm kind of taking a look at it. So it's still fresh from my eyes, and I think that's the best way to kind of approach it, because you're seeing the questions through my lens. How would I ask questions? What type of tactics would I take to solve the problem? Instead of me being ultimately prepared and knowing. If I make mistakes, you see the mistakes, you'll learn, and I'll learn. So, hope that makes sense, and see you in the next one.